So, I just finished this book, y'all. I'm also watching Fargo, wouldn't you know? Yeah.
Hey! Listen!
So, I just finished this book yesterday, The Slow Regard of Silent Things by Patrick Rothfuss. I read it in one day for the Pop Sugar 2016 challenge, so I'll be checking that one off. It's pretty short. Patrick Rothfuss has quickly become one of my favorite authors, and he did it so fast. He did it in 2 books. This book was just icing on the cake. In Patrick's other 2 novels, The Name of the Wind and The Wise Man's Fear, the main character, Quoth, he meets up with this young girl named Ari, oftentimes. She lives underground, but it's about Ari's own adventures. They may not be as crazy or exciting as some of the other adventures that I've read before. I think if you enjoy Patrick Rothfuss's writing, I think you would definitely enjoy this, so I think you should give it a go. So I want us to just take for just a moment and appreciate this beautiful cover. It's so blue, and I think it's a really great representation of where Ari lives. There's artwork in here too, done by Nate Taylor. So there's an example of that. I gave a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I definitely recommend this if you love Patrick Rothfuss's writing. If you don't really like it, I probably wouldn't waste my time with this. But otherwise, I think it's a good read. I don't recommend reading it by itself. I think you probably could if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it. So go read The Name of the Wind, Wise Man's Fear, then read The Slow Regard of Silent Things, and come back and we will talk spoilers. Okay, so let's talk about Ari. She's the main character in this book. I don't get her sometimes. Sometimes I really get her, and sometimes I really don't. She kind of, this is weird, but she kind of reminds me of Dobby, like with all of her needing to have certain things in certain places. I don't know why, it just kind of reminds me of Dobby, and then she can't take anything for herself, or that's greedy. I guess I don't get that. When you're poor and you're living in the under things, I don't see why you just can't take a silk blanket for yourself to sleep in. So, I don't know. I don't know what that's about. But other times, I really do appreciate her. I appreciate that she cares for things like people because she doesn't have any people in her life. Especially Foxen is like Wilson from Castaway. Like something that you really become invested in. It's not even a person. So in the first few pages, when she lost Foxen and I didn't think he was going to be coming back, I didn't even really understand what he was. I knew he gave light, I knew she cared about him, but when I thought she lost him, I was really sad, and I think that takes an excellent writer because that was only 20 pages in. I had only known about this Foxen character for 20 minutes. And I felt sad because Ari felt really sad, and I could feel that. Sometimes in books, a character can die and you don't really care. You've read about them an entire book, but you really don't care. It takes a great writer to make you care about that person, that character. Of course, Foxen comes back, yay, and Ari can continue on her adventures. The reason I didn't give this 5 out of 5 stars is because I read this in one day. I read about half of it one night, and then the next half of it the next day after I had woken up. So I really enjoyed reading it the first time, going through that kind of stuff, going through Ari's mindset the first time. But then the second day, I got kind of tired of it. I don't think there is a climax. I got really confused with a lot of the places that she was living. I kind of found my mind wandering sometimes, and I would have to bring it back. And because you know how when you read like a textbook, I guess, you can be reading without actually reading. And I caught myself doing that a couple of times, and I really want to reread it someday just to go back through and catch the things that I missed. The big scene at the end was soap making. Some animal had eaten her soap, and she had to make more soap. So, I mean, yeah, it's not that exciting. And Patrick Rothfuss, he even talked about that, how this book like shouldn't even exist, and how it's not, like, it doesn't have the things that good writing is supposed to have. Some things must be answered. I don't know if they're going to be answered in the next book. I don't know if I read them in previous books and just forgot about them, But some things have to be answered. The boots, the boot markings in the dust, that was some terrible thing that I don't even know what that is. I thought that towards the end we would get around to what happened there, but Ari never seemed to have her mind wander back onto those thoughts again. One day she just wept, and I really don't know what that was about. You know, I didn't major in literature, so there's a lot of tropes and things about literature that I don't understand, and I'm not sure if that had some of these things in there. It probably did. Just because Ari was very symbolic. Like when she broke Fulcrum into 3 pieces. Yes. Yes. What? Why did she make him a bed area? That, you know, I think Ari's got a little crush on Quoth. And I don't know if we're going to get into that in the next book. I kind of hope we do, but it's obvious that Ari has a little bit of a crush on him. And Quoth can't be doing that. Besides, he'd probably crush her poor little heart. I don't know. She needs to find somebody, but not Quoth. She made a bed area for him. That's something. Thank you guys so much for watching this review, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye! I like to sing. Ah, isn't that such a good feeling?